Hey, so in this part of the series, we are going to continue building this scene with the surfer and the wave. So I think we can start from creating the actual surfboard first. But before we do that, I think it's a good idea to hide a few of the waves because they might be slowing down the process, and the more objects we have on the scene, the slower the whole thing is working. But actually, just disabling the ambient occlusion on my device, and I have the iPad Pro 10.5, the previous generation here. It's working kind of well. I already tested the scenes we are shipping with Polydust on the newest iPad, and they work flawlessly, 60 FPS with all the effects. So I truly recommend you to get the newest device if you can, of course. But yeah, right now let's just work on this scene right here. So I think first we need to define the shape of the surfboard. So I'm just going to add the edge loop, and before I do that, I need to of course buy the the subscription. And I think I did that right now, which is great. So yeah, let me scale that, but I think it's gonna be better if we just change the gizmo to local, because then we can do it locally like this. Um, the actual surfboard has a different shape, slightly different shape, and we need to model it to for it to work properly. And I think it would be good if we could just remove half of the of the board and work on just half of it again. So let's select the polygons. Let's delete them right now. As you can see here, yeah, there is also a polygon that we need to get rid of. So I'm deleting it. Yeah, and let's just enable the symmetry mode so that we can just focus on one part of this surfboard and have the other one being created for us automatically. So yeah, I'm just trying to form a surfboard shape. So good idea would be to make it a bit thinner, because those birds are never that big. So as you can see, what I'm doing here, I'm just making those top vertices thinner, and let's select the correct ones again. I was lucky. And in the surfboard, there's actually also always a slight thing like this one, and the same thing goes to this. But as we can see here, this is not kind of looking good for us. So what we need to do instead is probably move it down. Or just let's undo these changes. We'll retopologize this edge over here. So let's subdivide them by adding 2 subdivisions to it. So I'm changing the number to 2, going back and then actually clicking subdivide. And what it gave me is those vertices here, that then I'll be able to connect with these vertices. So let me just connect them. And the same thing goes about the vertices here on the back side. So I'm just going to move them, and because we have the local gizmo, I'm moving on the surface of this board. So now I'm going to select the new vertices and connect them all together. And what this will give me, that right now when I'll just move to the top, this part, this keeps where it was, which is good here. Same thing, we'll go for the top one. And again, this one can even get a little thinner. It can't get too thin, but this kind of thing is good. So I'm just going to do it like this. We have a very, very simple surfboard, and I'm really not yet satisfied with the shape. So what we are going to do is insert more edge loops here, and let's have fun with these vertices. Let's slightly move them like this, and yeah, this more looks like a low poly board to me right now. I can even make it slightly to the bottom, and yeah, here is our surfboard, a low poly surfboard. It looks kind of nice, and now it's time to work on the person. Okay, to make it a bit easier, let's just hide this wave here because it's kind of obscuring what we are doing. So there, and just hide it like this. We already have the mock-up for our surfboard and the place where the surfer should be. So let's maybe make it slightly transparent by changing the material. Yeah, it'll just show us where we want our person to be. Also, we can freeze so that this is not going to be selectable, but it's going to just give us an idea where the surfer should be. So yeah, let's start by creating the person, the surfer. I don't know where this box is, it's there. So yeah, this material is always getting the last material, but we want this one to be actually visible. So we're going to move it up and position it just on the board like that. And while it's there now, we can activate the symmetry mode, because we'll start by creating the T-pose, so-called, for a person. So let's enable symmetry pose, symmetry mode, and let's move the vertices to the middle. And as always, we need to remove the middle polygon, because over there we don't see the polygon yet. Soon we will. Let's just enter this, and yeah, you can see this one needs to be removed. And this can be a base over the torso of our surfer. So for that to work, we need to, of course, make it a bit slimmer. And also we can move it forward like this. And of course it's too wide. And let's move the whole structure a bit to the middle of the board, to the surfboard. And the torso should not be that big. It could be ending just somewhere here, and it could slightly go, I think it's still too big, so the torso could be this size, but it could slightly be formed here so that he's more sport-like guy. So let's move him like this. Yep. And now let's create legs. It's going to be very simplified model at the beginning. So this is like leg, one like part of the leg. And let's form the ass part, the back part, a little. I think he's just too fat in general. And now let's create another part of the leg. So just extrude. Yeah. Oh, something bad happened. We don't want this extrusion for sure. I think I, by mistake, selected a few polygons. Yeah, that's true. And this one should go like this. and also I think like this slightly. And now let's extrude the feet part like here. We can extrude this part as the feet moving forward. And again, this is not a very detailed model, I know that, because we are going to go to the detail later on. It's just the form we're going to set up the part of the model. Yeah, let's do the same for the hands now and the head. Of course, it's going to be a bit tricky, but we can do that. So let's add the edge loop here. Let's move it forward because we want this to be our hand. Actually, this is going to be an arm first. Oh no, we again selected too many polygons. We can see that. So just select this one like this. And of course, scale it. And then extrude again. This is the forearm. It can be a bit longer. And yeah, scale it. And the hand itself. Well, I think this level of detail is okay for me. The other thing right now is the head, but of course we need the new edge loop here. Yeah, this one is going to be very useful for our feet. So let's deselect the top part here, and let's just scale it so that we have like three-dimensional legs here. And let's select this polygon. Let's create a neck. Yep. Extrude it again. Let's move a few vertices to have the beginning of the head. Sorry about that. It should be like this. And let's move them all down. It's just the beginning of the head. And let's take this polygon, this one over here, extrude it, and do it again, and then scale it. And move this polygon to the middle. Yep, now we have a very simple head. It's too big, but we'll fix it in the next part. Okay, so let's continue on working on our surfer. We still need to define a bit the shape of the head, plus start making this surfer actually have the proper pose, the surfer pose. But yeah, let's first start on working more on the head, because this one certainly doesn't look like a head, but it doesn't mean it will not look like that very soon. So yeah, let's just create an edge loop here, and actually let's scale it out so that even our legs will be more dimensional, plus our head is also getting a bit more three-dimensional. So we can see that we have a very rectangular shapes here, and what we need to do for sure is kind of make parts of it more rounded. So we can do that by just selecting a few vertices like this and forming them to really start looking like a real head. Oh, this vertex here is just too much there. let's move this one over here as well, that one over here. Yeah, and the beginning of the head also needs to be more rectangular, more circular, sorry. And this one as well. It still doesn't look good to me, especially parts like here. What's that? They're just errors that we need to fix. And we can see that the polygons are again inside, which we really don't want, because this will not look good for sure. Yeah. Okay. This neck looks very hilarious to me. So let's again fix it first. Even this one looks hilarious, I think. Just too bad. It's too bad. Okay, let's disable for a second the symmetry mode, and let's fix the parts that needs to be fixed. So let's select all these polygons. And let's go to, of course, polygon mode. Select all of these. And of course, deselect the ones that we are not interested in, which are these. Okay, we didn't succeed, so let's just try to add them by tapping. Should be all good, like this. And I selected something that should not be selected. I'm pretty sure of it. Yep. There's one over there on the hand. We need to get rid of, and I got rid of everything. That's so bad. That's too bad. Let's try again. Yeah. Okay, now we succeeded. Let's just delete them. And let's re-enable the symmetry modes. Yeah, it's getting better for sure. And I think we need to form it slightly better. For me, oh, we selected two objects. We don't want two objects. We want just a person. And now let's go to the vertex mode and do our little magic. And like this looks more like a head right now. And that's very, very good. Okay, so we have kind of a form, and there are still some things that would be good to fix, like the legs, for example. They're not too curvy, while there should be more curvy, because they look too rectangular. Same thing about the back, the ass. Let me just try to fix it. Yeah, this one over here. And there's still some parts that needs to be fixed, like this one over here. And the hands actually could also be slightly fixed if we just selected parts of it, like these parts here. Yeah, I'm trying. Okay, it's not easy, I know. Yep, we've got it. So this part of the hand can get higher. And let's try to select this one, And this one here. And let's move it down like that, yeah. So that it more looks like a hand, an actual hand. I think the proportions of the hand still can be improved. Like, we really don't want to make fingers here because it's gonna be just too complicated for the task that we have right now. So this looks, this doesn't look ideal, I think, but that should do for what we are building here. Should be completely okay. Let's try to form some kind of chest here. And there are still parts that can be more rounded for our model. So let's try to round them. And that's kind of making our mesh look better. And this head is just too thick. So let's try to close together parts of it. Yeah. We don't need to be realistic here. It's an art work, so this doesn't need to be perfect, but it can be better for sure. So let's just keep modeling that. Whenever that can be better, let's try to make it better. And it's slightly getting there, I think. No. The knowledge of anatomy here is also can also help for sure. It will not hurt. So knowing where exactly are the muscles, how our bodies are constructed, are all things that can help out build this mesh to look even more realistic. We don't want to have the knees and parts that are super hyper realistic. We can do that, but I think that would be for another tutorial, how to build the realistic looking model. Let's just try to work from what we have here. I think this needs to be scaled together like this. Yeah. And also parts of it, the bottom parts, can be moved up. Just the bottom parts. Certainly don't want the top parts. And this one too. And there we go. I think that looks much better now. The head could still be slightly improved, slightly more roundified. Stop vertex. Not this one. This one. Yeah. Yeah, that's looking okay. The legs, I think, needs a bit more love, so let's give them some more love. It's already looking better. And here we go. This part here, this one here, and I think we should almost be there. Yep. So this is like a base. Now we'll be forming the actual pose. Okay, and to create the pose, we need to exit from the symmetry modes, and we have to actually reduplicate the part that we already have to mirror the part and duplicate it. So this is how we do that. And now what we can do is we can merge together these two parts. So let's try to do that now. Oh, no mirror. I meant to merge. So yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I probably did something wrong, completely wrong. Let me try to undo all my changes. Yep. And now let's try to mirror it with duplication and select them and merge. Yeah, okay, so part of it went inside out. As we can see, that's not good, but we'll fix it. Let's try to fix it. So select this part and let's grow the selection until we select the whole model. And now let's try to flip normals. And there we go, it's fixed. So let's now create the pose that we want. And this pose involves a bit twisting the actual board that we have. So yeah, let's try to twist it because this twist is very important. It needs to be something around here. And now let's work with the surfer himself. He needs to be, actually he needs to be somewhere around here, I think, with his both legs being moved a bit forward and twisted. Yeah, he needs to be almost sitting there like this. Of course, we'll need to also twist his ass, so otherwise it's gonna look very squinted. But this needs to be done in the correct axis, of course, which is the red one. So with this one, yeah. And let's move it forward. Yeah, let's try to form it in a good way. So one of his legs needs to be bended more, and one should not be that much bended. So this one will probably be more bended.